Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our online class. This is your third period, and the subject is social science. Students, in the last week, in the last period, we have started Economics Chapter 2 with the title Sectors of Indian Economy. Sectors of Indian Economy, this chapter we have started in the previous week, last week, and we have studied the introductory part of this chapter. Now today, through this recorded video, I will cover the following topics, and I suggest all my students to listen and watch this video carefully for better understanding of concepts which were given in the chapter. Okay students, fine. So some recapitulation. Okay, so the chapter is Sectors of Indian Economy. In this chapter, mainly what we are going to read. So students, in this chapter, we are going to read three important topics. One is on the basis of economic activities or on the basis of nature of economic activities, our economy is classified into how many sectors? On the basis of the nature of economic activity, our Indian economy is classified into how many sectors? Second one, on the basis of employment condition. On the basis of employment condition, how many sectors are there in the economy? Or on the basis of employment condition, our economy is divided into how many sectors? And the third and last one is on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, our economy is divided into how many sectors? So this is the chapter. These things we are going to read in a detailed manner. So our first topic is on the basis of nature of economic activities. On the basis of nature of economic activities, our Indian economy is divided into how many sectors and what are they? So each sector with examples we will read. How many sectors are there? Each sector in detailed manner we will read with examples. Fine. So here our topics moves, students. On the basis of the nature of economic activity, on the basis of nature of economic activity, our Indian economy is classified into three sectors. Our Indian economy is classified into three sectors, namely primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. So these are the three sectors are there in our economy, and this we classified on the basis of the nature of economic activity. Here, the primary sector is otherwise known as the agricultural sector. The secondary sector here is known as industrial sector, also known as industrial sector. And the tertiary sector is also known as service sector. Here, one thing I want to add, service sector is again further divided into two categories. One is quaternary sector, and second is quinary sector. So service sector further classified into two categories, quaternary sector and quinary sector. Clear? Now, you all know students, people are engaged in various activities in order to earn their livelihood. If I ask you to write all the activities, it will become very difficult to you to write down all activities. Hence, all activities which earn something in return to you are called economic activities. Those activities which earn something in return to you are called economic activities. So all economic activities we have classified into three categories: primary sector activities, secondary sector activities, tertiary sector activities. Here, primary sector activities means what? Okay, so I will repeat once again. Already we studied those activities that are undertaken directly. Those activities that are undertaken directly by using natural resources. All those activities or those activities that are undertaken by directly using natural resources. Okay, I repeat, there are many activities that are undertaken directly by using natural resources are called primary activities. Okay, here the example of these primary activities are the growing crops, growing vegetables, preparing agricultural tools and implements. Okay, next one. Similarly, fishing, mining. Similarly, here forestry, animal husbandry, dairy farming, fishing, mining, agriculture, forestry. All these activities are comes under primary activities. So primary activities are those activities that are undertaken directly by using the natural resources. Example, agriculture. Example, mining. Example, dairy farming. Example, animal husbandry. Example, here I can say fishing. Example, forestry, etc. So second one, what is secondary sector and what are the examples? Secondary sector means, already told you, the another name is what? Industrial sector. Secondary sector, otherwise called industrial sector. Now what is this sector and what are the examples that comes under the sector? See, the secondary sector covers all those activities. It covers all those activities in which natural products are changed into other forms. Secondary sector covers all such activities or all those activities which natural products are changed into some other forms by the ways of manufacturing that are associated with the industrial activity. That means whenever natural resources are brought in firms or industries and when they are converted through the process of manufacturing into some other goods or value added goods, then that sector is called what? Secondary sector. I repeat, the secondary sector covers all those activities in which natural products are changed into some other forms at industries through the process of manufacturing. So if for example here we can say converting sugarcane into sugar or jaggery is a secondary activity. Converting the iron ore or manganese into what? Steel, that is secondary activity. So all construction of building activities, all building and construction activities will come under this industrial sector or secondary sector. I told you secondary sector is also called what? Industrial sector. So this conversion of natural resources or natural products into some valuable or other forms products are done at either at home or some small firms or large or big industries by the process of manufacturing is called secondary sector or industrial sector. In this sector, all construction activities or building activities, everything will come under this sector. For example, one more thing, you are using soil, mud, earth, soil, mud or earth. If you convert the earth into the bricks at brick kilns, then also it comes under what? Secondary sector. Next, coming to tertiary sector. Tertiary sector is that sector which always help and aid both primary sector and secondary sector. I can say primary sector and secondary sector, they're depending upon the tertiary sector or service sector. Or service sector provides help, necessity help for both primary sector and secondary sectors. So after primary and secondary, there is a third category of activities. After primary and secondary activities, there is a third category of activities that falls in this tertiary sector. Okay. Now, these are activities that help in the development of primary and secondary sectors. I told you, all such activities that are taken in this tertiary sector are helping the primary activities and secondary activities. For example, here I am giving the examples of the tertiary sector. The following are the examples of tertiary sector. For example, transportation, communication, health, education, electricity or power, irrigation, general administration, banking, computers, information technology, okay, entertainment. All this comes under what? Tertiary sector. So here communication and transportation I mentioned. This communication and transportation which comes under tertiary sector or service sector, but these two, what? Transportation and communication always helps in primary sector and secondary sector. In the primary sector, the transportation of agricultural production from fields to markets done by transportation. I mean, the information of good markets we can get through communication. Similarly, taking the raw materials from mining areas to industries, transportation. From industries, if we carry the finished products to the marketing centers, we need transportation. To find out new markets, we need communication. Railways, roadways, airways, waterways, all are running through communication. Here, transportation and communication both are helping primary sector and secondary sector. Or you can say secondary sector and primary sector, they depends upon tertiary sector. Again, in tertiary sector, I told you number of examples. Communication, transportation, irrigation, power, education, health, so many I told you. There also, transportation and communication both are depending upon each other and both are related to each other. For example, airways. Airways is a mode of transport. I mean, that is what? Transportation. But in airways, we need communication help. I mean, announcement, the radar, they're what? Communications. So, communication and transportation also related to each other. And today, more and more people are engaged in this tertiary sector or service sector. Today, the production in tertiary sector is increasing. Today, the production in tertiary sector has been increasing. Fine. So, this is about even cold storage. The cold storage facility also come under tertiary sector. Moreover, there are doctors, lawyers, teachers, pilots, train drivers, barbers, okay, cobblers, washermen. All these are also comes under service sector, but because they are providing necessary services to us. Cobbler, carpenter, barber, teacher, lawyer, pilot, railway driver, bus driver, plumber, all this comes under what? Service sector, because they are giving services to us. Even the people who are engaged in the general administration, I mean, some people are working as what? Clerks, some are accountants, some are general managers. So all those people also comes under what? Service sector or tertiary sector. Suppose if your parents are working in collector office or commissioner office or any other office, they comes under service sector. Suppose your parents are working in a school, they comes under service sector. Suppose your parents are doctors, they comes under service sector. I myself comes under what? Service sector. Now, ATM booths, they are providing us money. ATM. So, ATM booths and call centers, HSBC call centers, ATM booths and HSBC call centers, cafes, internet cafe, ATM calls, ATMs, booths, call centers, there also comes under what? Service sector. ATM booths, internet cafes, okay, call centers, and software companies, all comes under what? This is service sector or tertiary sector. Now, economic activities, though they are grouped into three categories, but they are highly interdependent. That's what I told you. Primary sector depends upon secondary sector sometimes. How? Primary sector depends upon secondary sector. Primary sector depends upon secondary sector. Secondary sector and primary both depends upon tertiary sector. How? For example, we are doing, suppose I am a farmer, I am doing cultivation. I need fertilizers, pesticides. Where do I get them? I'll get them from the secondary sector. I'll get them from industries, because industries are manufacturing fertilizers and pesticides. So primary sector really depends upon secondary sector. Similarly, for transportation communication purpose, both primary and secondary depends upon tertiary sectors. So all the three sectors, though they are separate, but they are interlinked and interdependent on each other. Now, a tailor is a service working in service sector. A basket weaver engaged in primary sector. Okay. Now, moving to next topic, that is comparing the three sectors. Let us compare the three sectors, which is big, which is small, which sector is contributing more to the national income, which sector more people are engaged, which sector is giving more output. Let us compare all the three sectors, how good it is. Comparison of all the three sectors in terms of output, in terms of contribution of GDP, in terms of employment, in terms of its vastness. Let us see. Various production activities in the primary, secondary and tertiary sectors produced a very large number of goods and services. I repeat, various production activities in the primary, secondary and tertiary sectors produce a very large number of goods and services. Also, the three sectors have a very large number of people. Also, the three sectors, primary, secondary, tertiary, also the three sectors have a large number of people working in them to produce these goods and services. All the three sectors are producing a large number of goods and services, and moreover in all the three sectors, more and more people are engaged. More and more people are engaged in the production activities or giving their services. Now, the next step therefore is to see how much goods and services are produced and how many people are working in each sector. The same thing said here, how much their output and how much people are engaged in each sector. How much people are engaged in each sector, and what is the total output from each sector? Let us see. In an economy, there could be one or more sectors. I repeat, in our economy there are three sectors, but generally in an economy there could be one or more sectors which are dominant in terms of total production and employment. In any country, there may be one sector or two sectors which are dominating more in the production of goods and services and also in what? Employment. While the other sectors are relatively small in size. Now, how do we count the various goods and services and know the total production of each sector? How do we know what is the total production of goods and services from each sector? And how the total production is there from this sector and how much people are engaged in each sector? Let us see. With so many thousands of goods, see, we can't count goods. With so many thousands of goods and services produced, you might think that this is an impossible task. Because if we count goods and services which are there in the world, or the goods which are using daily, it will become very difficult to you to count the number. Because number of goods, varieties of goods are produced in all the three sectors. And it will become difficult to count you the number of all goods and services. Because thousands of goods are produced in the economy. So with so many thousands of goods and services produced, you might find it difficult to count, or it is an impossible task. Not only would the task become enormous, okay, you might also wonder how we can add up cars and computers and nails and furnitures. That won't make any sense. How many cars are there? How many nails are there? How many cars are there? How many nails are there? How many furnitures are there? You can't count. Varieties of furnitures are there. Varieties of furnitures, varieties of nails are there. Varieties of cars are there. So it become very difficult to count all these goods. Then how to do? You are right in thinking, sir, it will become very difficult to count all the goods because varieties of goods are there in each category. In nails only you will get hundreds of types of nails. In hammers, hundreds of hammers are there. In cars, thousands of varieties are there. So you are right in thinking so, my dear students. Okay, this get around this problem. Economists suggested that the values of services, the values of goods and services should be used rather than the adding up the actual number. So let us see how much services they are producing each good and services rather than counting. I mean, in order to avoid this difficult question, let us see what the economist said. To get